guys, I hope you're having a good day. I was just working on this aloe vera. And thought, you know what, somebody else might want to see this. Maybe I should video it. It seemed pretty routine and boring to me, and yeah, I just was proceeding along. But this is a lovely aloe here, and the leaves have been thinning a bit. They should be more plump, which part of it was because it was dry, but I had been watering it more, and I hadn't really pulled it out to really take a good look. But when I did that a couple days ago, I saw that it had bugs. See all the lovely little, which again, I should have, I could have started this at the beginning before I proceeded with doing things. But if you can see all of the spots here, these are kind of dead, gummy mealy bugs. I sprayed everything with alcohol and let it evaporate off, and so it killed all these buggers. But there was a lot of dead old leaves. As these guys grow up naturally, even if nothing's wrong, you know, the bottom leaves slowly die back, and the new growth comes from the top. And so it's not a big deal, but sometimes these layers of old leaves, you know, we cut the leaf off maybe like right here, you know, when they get really old and yucky. Like this one, for example. If this aloe was in a pot and this leaf was there, I would just take it and cut it off, right? Well, that only cuts it off to here, and it leaves a lot of layers that slowly dry up. It's totally fine, doesn't harm the plant at all, not a problem. The only time it becomes a real problem is when you get bugs, because these little crevices and nooks make great places for them to hide, and that's what happened with this guy. And I've already pulled off, as you can see here, quite a lot of these dried up pieces, but that's what I'm doing right now, is just removing some of these layers. And you don't want to be, if it's green stem and you're harming your plant, you want to be careful about that. The fresher leaves, you can't just peel all the way back. But on these older leaves, you can totally just unpot like I did. I knocked all the soil off as much as possible. I'll knock a little bit more off just to make sure there's no bugs there. And let me move. Nah. Sorry guys, one-handed camera things. Okay. But you can remove a fair amount of these. And I have my lovely little pruning shears here that are really nice scissors, and then I also have a little pair of pliers. I make jewelry and stuff, and the tools get used on jewelry and plants. It's kind of funny, but it works. All right, so peeling this layer off here. I don't know how well this will show up individually, but some of the alcohol didn't get down into every bit, and so there's still some live mealy bugs here. So you can see all the little growth. And so I could clean this all up, but they would just end up keeping on coming back. So just peeling this away before I replant. You can see here, these are bugs all up in here. Most of them are dead. I sprayed alcohol down in between the layers as much as I could do, but there we go. All right, now this layer that I just got down to right here is actually the skin, so to speak, of this leaf right here. So this belongs to this leaf. So that's how I know I've peeled down enough. We are to a current leaf. This part, this half belongs to this other side, so that I just cut off here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this down a little bit, but because it's already, or still not already, still a bit green, we're not gonna totally peel it all the way back. We're just gonna peel off as much as comes off really nice and naturally. Look at all those critters. All right, so this is good clean stem now. I'm just gonna cut a little bit of this back. I don't want to cut any of my roots here. My kitty is upset that Daddy went in the garage without him. He is a daddy's boy. He's meowing at the door for Dad to let him back into the garage. So just as many of these as are really nice and papery. We don't, if this is fresh, healthy tissue, if it's alive, you don't want to pull it off. But if it's dry like this, we can just go ahead and get as much off and leave as few nooks and crannies for the buggies to hide in. All right. That looks pretty great. Now, I'm gonna turn him upside down like so. And even though I have given this guy a great spray already, he's gonna get another dose. You don't have to turn them upside down, but I just am trying to avoid getting any alcohol on the roots. So, and since I'm wanting to access the bottom of the leaves here anyways, this is better for me. And then this guy's gonna get just hosed off all of these little bugs. I may end up taking a very soft toothbrush and kind of scrubbing the bottom here just to get the little guys off. Then, oops, trying to do this one-handed again. Then up under here is obviously a really good place for bugs to hide, which again, I've already done this once, but before this final rinse, I'm gonna do it again just to make sure. All right, now we're gonna take it over to the sink and hose it off. All righty, here we are back at the sink. And I got my lovely little plant toothbrush here. And first I'm just gonna spray it off really, really well. I'm trying to direct the streams of water in between the leaves specifically, especially where my toothbrush is not as likely to be able to reach. And the streams of water really, there's a reason that so many people recommend just washing mealybugs off as opposed to other remedies. It really, you can really do a lot of good with a stream of water. All right, now we barely got any left here, just a little bit of sticky residue that I'm gonna get off, but it looks pretty amazing. And yeah, you can see the little speckles in here. Those are still bugs, so those are still kind of sticking. They're dead. They're dead because they've been doused with alcohol and stuff. Nothing seems to be moving whatsoever, but we still don't want them there. At least I don't. Every visible bug that I can see, I prefer to get rid of. Now, and just to mention this as a side note with mealybugs in particular, they often attack weak or unhappy plants. So if you have a plant that keeps getting mealybugs, if you just have one that happens to get some because you have a big infestation, then no big deal. But if you have one that has repetitive infestations, it probably needs some alteration on its care. And in this guy's instance, it's just been too dry. I've just haven't watered this poor little babe enough. So it's needing some more water. Its roots are great, no problem there. But it's attracting more mealybugs because it's thirsty. And without getting into a whole bunch of details, plants send out all kinds of chemical signals for various and sundry things. It helps them communicate with insects, it helps them communicate with other plants, etc., etc. And one of the things is that bugs really can tell. They send out special hormones that actually attract bugs when they're suffering. And there's various reasons. Some of them are actually to the benefit of the plant as to why they do that. And some of them kind of puzzle us a little bit as to why they would, when they're not doing so well, excrete hormones that would attract predators that would help, that would make it do even worse. But I'm not going to get into all that right now. There are a bunch of reasons, but it is really interesting. So if you have a plant that is repetitively getting infested with something, consider really doing a close look at what you're doing with it. Is it getting enough light? Is it getting enough water? Does it have the right type of medium? Are its roots able to breathe, etc.? Just really look over it and see what might be the reason for the particularly bad infestation. And a lot of times, just by improving the plant's health, supplementing it with a mineral or something that it might be deficient in, etc., you can totally prevent future infestations without any kind of pesticide or really a need for a lot of intervention other than giving the plant what it wants. Okay, I am going to run grab another jug and I will be right back. All right, so I'm just rinsing this again. It looks really good. I got all the bugs off. I'm just rinsing it with some rainwater because I really don't want our well water to harden onto its leaves. I don't want to have to come back and clean this guy up. So I'm just rinsing it off with some good rainwater. And then going to pot this guy up. I don't think I need to include that on the video. I'm just going to pot this guy up and put him back in his happy little home and give him some more water and keep an eye on him. But that's how I clean up aloes that are bug infested. Makes a huge difference doing this. I had been treating this plant a little bit along, and as I have many other aloes, and they just kind of limp along until you really deal with all of these layers that just make a beautiful home and just host all of these mealies. It's kind of the same idea as with lithops. Sometimes the outer shell of the old set of leaves that has died, people say, well, do you need to remove it or will it hurt the plant? No, it won't hurt the plant at all. It's a completely natural thing. And obviously in the wild, people aren't coming along and pulling these out to keep them healthy. But in cultivation especially, those little dried leaves can really hold bugs right next to that soft, tender stem, because underneath all of these layers, this is actually quite a tender stem. And so they're just right there at the base of the plant, and they can just suck the living daylights out of it and cause all kinds of problems and almost be completely unseen. And then a few of them creep up here and we think, oh no, there's bugs, but really the problem is here. So dealing with this is absolutely my advice for any type of plant that really tends to grow like this. Aloe, Haworthia, Gasteria, that can build up layers from the outer leaves dying. So, all right, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I will talk to you guys soon, and happy growing.